but it was about situationships. So it was like, you have this little on a low hush relationship, and you're not really getting to know that person. You don't have the people around you that know you to get to know that person or feel that person, and you're not talking to your elders or your the people you trust about this person and getting to learn this person. And so you rush into relationships, and then it's broken. You having these kids, no fathers, no home, no family, and you have, so it's a lot that goes into just starting off with respect and starting off with wanting to get to learn and know a person and being open to that person.
I think the one thing I do want to add really quick is about expectations.
Right.
Well, and mine is just a little different take. It's because I did grow up in a 2-parent household. My parents have been married for almost 40 years. So I've had that stability. So part of my issue with it was I thought that all men were like my daddy.
Right. Yeah.
And so when you didn't get out to pump my gas and it was raining, or you didn't, make sure that
pump your gas, period. It ain't got to be raining.
I mean, like, even if we're not together, like if you meet me and say, hey, do you need gas? Let me pump it for you. Even if we're not together, my father did those things. When I got up in the morning, my mom's car and my car were always filled with gas. I didn't worry about those things. So I thought that all men were like my daddy. Now, he would always tell me, be careful. No, they're not, whatever. But I'm thinking, look, no, they're like my daddy. So that's all that I know. Yeah. And so those were my expectations. For that all men were providers, and that all men covered their women, and that all men did all these things that my father did in my household. So he was home in the evenings for dinner. We ate dinner together almost every, unless he was working, we ate dinner together. I'm used to those things. And so when I got out here in the dating world, and it was a whole nother ball game, even though I had been told about that ball game, it's different when what you know and what you see is not lining up with what's being offered to you in the world. And so mine was the other side of the spectrum. Not so much that I never saw it, because I saw it every day.
Right.
And so when I got out here, I'm like, well, where
why
is
are
this
you
man
doing
at?
it?
Like,
Right.
Why are you clowning? Why,
And I think that goes back to a lot of young males don't have father figure. You know what I'm saying? They don't really grow up with that 2-parent home and having a role model showing them that this is how you should do it. This is what you should be doing. And I had that too. My father was in my life. And he was a provider. My mom didn't have to work. She stayed at home with us. She homeschooled us, and we experienced all that. And he had a lot of money. And so we went on we went on trips, and I did a lot when I growing up that created expectations for me too. And so that's why I said I had to check myself, because you have to know, we are broken people, and our men are broken too. And so we have to realize that, and I'm not saying, and Lakeitha, I know she ready to jump on the mic, excuses, and I don't want to give, I'm not saying it's any excuses, but, I feel like both parties should be more understanding of each other and where we come from. I feel like, men have a role to play in being more understanding to women as well. That even though you were not, you did not grow up in that broken home, it's still, if you choose to be with a woman and be in a relationship, you have a responsibility to initiate learning how to treat that woman. And I feel like a big issue in our community is that a lot of us don't initiate to learn things. We don't initiate to learn. We want somebody to come and hold our hand and show us the way, when everybody can't do that. Some things, but you cannot expect for everybody to be like, to show you this, and this, and this, and this. You have to, if it's something that you want, if you want to be married, if you want to have a relationship, if you want to have a healthy relationship, then it's just like anything else. If you want something, you're going to get out here and learn how to do it. And you may not have those male role models around you, but there are certain places where you can go. There are certain programs that you can get into. There are certain books that you can read. There are certain, you know what I'm saying? So I'm a big advocate of initiating, learning how to do something. And I know it's not always going to be easy. It's never easy, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Nobody.
Well, that's such a good point, but it's also not a woman's job to teach men either. And I feel that there's a lot of an emphasis on, well, women, it puts the ball game back in women's court again, claiming that now putting the responsibility back on women again. And I'm really tired of that. Women are responsible for everything. And when things fail, then it's the blame back on black women for it failing. Whereas men have to lead. And someone spoke about the point of how, now, I think it was Dre, you said about how women now also glorify damaging lifestyles. But that is because we are followers. No matter how we want to lead, we are no matter what we want. That doesn't mean we're not great leaders. It doesn't mean we're not heads of our households or any of that. But our natural is to follow men, and we need leaders. We need teachers. So that is why we have led our own self into this very negative situation of where we're very demeaning to ourselves because men are demeaning to us. Black men have disrespected us, devalued us in such a way that we don't value ourselves and we don't have self-respect for our own selves. But my only thing I want to say about the expectations point is I don't focus on that as much, only because I feel like it's so taken out of context. And there are expectations that we need to have of one another, of basics of just humanity. And I feel like when you say, oh, don't expect anything from me, then that means that I shouldn't even expect your respect. And that is not true. And that's how guys kind of, not just guys, girls too. And we say, well, you shouldn't have any expectations from me, so I can treat you any kind of way you want to be treated. No, we're family. We're friends. We should be able to be civil to one another, even if we don't like each other. There has to be some basics of expectations of how we treat one another. And April keeps saying respect, 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 because it's highly important. And we really have come to a place where we don't have to even respect one another. And it's because I choose not to. I need us to get back to where at least the basics of how we should treat one another should be there, whether we know each other, whether we're friends, whether our mamas know each other's names or whoever. You can be a stranger to me. I need you to be a gentleman, be nice to me, be genuine to me, and not expect anything from me, and vice versa.
I just wanted to touch on the whole leadership thing, right? Now, I understand the whole, women are followers and, we're supposed to be, and the men are supposed to lead, but there's a lot of problems with that. And in today's age, it's like, okay, like I'm from the hood, and as a kid, I was doing a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to do, but at the same time, we had what we called OGs, and we had to answer to them. Whether your father was around or not, if you was out there doing stuff, you had older people to answer to. I don't know if y'all ever seen The Bronx Tale, but it was a lot of situations like Sonny was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like Sonny used to talk to C, although C had his own dad. I mean, Sonny would school him on a lot of stuff, and we don't have that. Like these kids don't have that no more. Like these kids are running wild, and it's like they don't have that older male who be like, sit them down, like, yo, like I've had situations when I was a kid, the dude was, they sit me down, like, yo, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, or this is what you want to do. Well, why is it that you want to do that? And it make you think about things. I mean, even then, even though you was doing stuff you weren't supposed to be doing, they still make you sit down and think about it, and like the youth of today, I'm not saying that you need to be out here in the streets, but if they, the ones that are, they are lacking that, they are lacking their leadership to make them accept responsibility for what they doing, which is why you get a lot of recklessness going on. And then it's like, black women feel, the women feel, okay, well, a man should be a leader, but we've been conditioned women have been conditioned to not accept us as leaders because, a lot of stuff that we do, we don't show leadership qualities all the time. So women can't just go around following, behind anything, so because of the lack of leaders, because of the lack of male leaders, there's a lack of trust for women to, like, what reason do I have to follow you? Like, what are you doing to where I should follow you, And that just goes to the point that, and it just makes it seem like, now men are looking at women like, well, why would I try to lead her when she's not going to listen anyway? And then women are like, well, why would I listen to him when he don't know what he doing? And I think that goes back to, Yeah, that goes back to my initial point, earlier when we were talking about, the division. It's like they don't need each other. So,
Man, I've just been over here just listening and trying to bite my tongue. I didn't want to cut nobody off. But y'all touch on so many good points, solid points. I relate a lot of things to my life, right? That's why I have the following that I have, and so many people who look to me for advice and things like that and direction, because I'm just real and I'm just raw about everything, right? And, in the relationship that I'm in now, it has been a roller coaster ride, okay? But now we're at such a good point. We're at such a good place now.
Did the work.
We did the work. You took the words out of my mouth. We did the work. We tried the counseling thing. That didn't work out too well. We tried so many different things, but we just had to come to an understanding. If this is what we want, we have to put in X amount of work to make it happen. When you get with somebody, you're dealing with somebody from a completely different walk of life, somebody with completely different experiences, and we just weren't relatable on a lot of things and in a lot of ways, But the place that we're in right now is like that, you get that moment, like, man, we finally made it and we finally done it. But I'd like to I always set myself as the example. In everybody life that I'm in, I try to be the example of what a black man, strong black man, educated black man should be, the foundation, that a black man is supposed to be. I set myself to be that example, and we really need more men like us, like Kevin, like Twan.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? We need that.
But I see so many men who don't want that responsibility.
Exactly.
It's work to be a man.
Oh, yes.
And
who you telling?
no, I'm a woman. I can see. I admire men. I was raised by. Even though I didn't have my father passed when I was very young, but I have a great grandfather, and so I'm all jacked up because there are things that he said to me that I was going to experience and things that I should know about how a man should treat a woman. And it's like, oh, where are these men at? Because they don't exist. Like he would just say things like, a man should never have to prove his manhood to a woman. A man is a man, and he should never ever have to not necessarily just say even prove it, but he should never have to even attempt to boast it, or he's a man. So, and he would say things like a man should never even have to raise his voice to a woman because he's a man, and I never experienced that. I can get to a point, I'm expressive, I'm passionate, and I can be very emotional about things that I say or things that I feel. Doesn't mean that I'm ready to fight you or anything like that, but I can be very animated even. I have a high pitch, I can go to a really high pitched tone and da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like, but guys do this to you, and the guys can become very loud. And people always say, well, why is a woman screaming? Because women scream because women feel like we're voiceless.
Yes.
And we're trying to get, and I need you to hear what I'm saying
and process what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Not just hear me,
Men
but
feel like whatever they say.
And that should never, ever be the case.
Exactly.
True communication.
And people feel like, women, but that is something that because we've so voiceless, no matter our pains are not really, and not saying that black men are, because black men are taught. Oh my God, black men are not taught to speak about their pains either.
They are, yes, they are.
That's unfortunate. But the one person who will listen is a black woman, and I really want us to come back, like things that Twans were saying. I need us to come full circle, because that's all true. It's all true that we are not, men are not taught to lead properly, and that women don't know how to accept leadership because they've been failed, or women feel like we have to lead ourselves. But we need to bring that full circle to where men now, we need leaders, men who want to lead. Because you ever wonder why? Because we won't change as humans. We really won't. Our natural ways of living, we are not changing as far as what we need. And men, we will continuously gravitate. If there's one leader, 500 women are going to gravitate to that man who's the strongest mentally, physically, because that is how we are. That is who we are. That is who we are. And that will continue we need more of those so that we can, learn to who to look to, and we need more men to lead by example. As Dre said he does, you need to lead by examples and show